Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Ria here and I am back with another video. I'm so sorry I didn't post last week. I've just been so busy, but I am remaining consistent because I know that I made a promise and commitment. So here we are, and today we're going to be talking about attention and its relationship with life. So I know it may sound random, but today we're going to be covering what attention is, why it is so important, and how we can increase our connection to life, to ourselves, through attention, and how it relates to sensuality. So there is a lot to uncover, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's get straight into it. With this video, the one thing that I would like to start it off with is a quote from Julia Cameron. Now, if you guys don't know who she is actually the author of The Artist's Way. It's a book that has been written for artists who are recovering their inner artist. They are recovering their creativity because, as you know, in life we sometimes have blocks and we have doubts, and doubt can be a big obstacle in the way of expressing ourselves. Anyway, so let's get into it. So I'm going to start off with this one quote that I really love. So she said that the quality of life is in proportion always to the capacity for delight. The capacity for delight is the gift of paying attention. I love this quote, and I love it because with time recently, I have realized how valuable attention is. Now, you may think the most valuable thing about you is your, I don't know, your beauty, maybe your talents, maybe it's your achievements, or maybe it's your material possessions. But I'm here to, what do they say? I'm here to can't remember the exact saying, but I'm here to not prove you wrong, but to surprise you that actually the most valuable thing about you is your attention. That is why you say that you pay it, because it is literally something that is more valuable than anything, any quality that you have. And it is the reason why data companies and corporations are paying billions to specialist experts in the fields of psychology and marketing and understanding human behavior, because they want to take your attention. Your attention is valuable because your attention is your creative force. What you focus your attention on will literally grow. And if you want to practice this, you can do a little demo. Let's do a little demo, right? Why don't you focus on paying attention to your hands, right? Close your eyes and pay attention to your hands. Like, what does it feel like to have hands? What does it feel like to move them around? Put all of your awareness in them. What does the energy in your hands feel like? And you'll notice the more and more attention you pay to a specific part of your body or a specific part in your environment or your life, that will grow. Because where attention flows, energy goes. Where energy flows, you know what I mean. I hope you know what I mean. If not, it's not coming to my attention right now, but I will find it for you, okay? Where attention goes, energy flows. That's the one. Okay, I got it. So now, I haven't completed The Artist's Way, but as I was reading this book, I remember thinking about this chapter on this section about attention, and I had, on that day, it was like a late afternoon, and I was sitting in my living room, and I had just an argument with somebody that I was talking to. So I was kind of upset about the argument, but I remembered what Julia said in her book, and in that moment something just clicked, and I stopped paying attention to my thoughts and I started paying attention to something that caught my eye. Now, the thing that caught my eye was actually these beautiful roses that I had bought for myself, these pink, luscious, vibrant flower petals that were just looking at me and begging for my attention. And my eye fell to them, my attention, I paid it my attention to them. And the way that there was a candle next to the roses, and the way the light of the fire was illuminating these petals, these flowers, these roses, was so mesmerizing. I wasn't even paying attention to the TV because I was so mesmerized by the beauty and the essence of the essence of the roses. And in that moment, for a while, I stopped thinking about the past and the argument that I had and the future and the discussions I would have further regarding the conflict that I was experiencing. I was so focused on these roses that it was like I was healing, because it almost took me away from the pain, and it took me into the present moment. And that's what attention is, right? It's paying attention to this present moment right now, to your body. It's so funny, it's 3:33. I just paid attention to the time on my phone. So Julia says that attention is a form of connection to life, others, and yourself. So when I was connecting with the flowers, when I was paying attention to them, I wasn't in my mind anymore. I wasn't operating from the neck upwards. I was operating from my entire body, because my entire body was taking in, it was digesting the beauty of these roses. And this was so profound, because everyone, it is all of us, even me, okay? We are so used to operating from the neck upwards. We focus it on is thoughts and worries and the past and the future that hasn't happened yet, and concepts and ideas and logic and information, and we're just stuck here. We're just stuck inside. We're not even inside our minds. We're more like outside and thinking, oh my god, well, how am I being perceived, and how's this person going to look at this, and how is this person thinking of me now? And we're not in our body, and we're not in the present moment, because if I am worrying about what is going to happen tomorrow, I cannot be here and give you my full attention and my full presence. I can't give you my full energy and my full essence to this video, because I'm so worried about what's going to happen in another moment. And this isn't just now, we find ourselves being like this a lot of the time, because the society we live in, the systems, they have been created to take our attention away from us. So when we're doom scrolling, and we all do it, even I do it sometimes, okay, maybe a lot of times, I'm working on it, but it essentially, they take our attention from us, because it's so valuable. And the longer we are giving them attention, these corporations are growing, and these businesses are making money of us, and Instagram and TikTok, they're making so much money from us, because we're giving them our valuable life source. And attention is almost like the doorway through which life can flow through you, into your direct experience, through emotions, through sensation, through contrast, through feeling, through being here. Your attention is, as Julia Cameron said, your capacity for delight. Now, what is delight? Delight is beauty, right? I believe that in every single moment, even in the mundane moments, there is so much beauty, there is so much untapped pleasure that we can be connected to, but we have severed that connection because we are not connected to ourselves. In every single day, okay, it makes sense. In every single moment, as mundane as it may seem, there is a reservoir, this infinite reservoir of untapped beauty, of untapped pleasure, of untapped connection that we can connect to, but we don't. And there are many reasons. So some of the reasons are, especially for women, is that we have been taught that it is not safe to be in our body. The reason why you are unable to pay your full attention to the present moment in every single moment is because you have been conditioned to be functioning out of survival mode. And when you're functioning in survival mode, you're focused on a few things: fighting, flighting, or fawning, right? So when you're going about your daily life and you're so stressed, you're worried about work, you're worried about how you're being perceived, you're worried about what your boss might say, what your friends think of you. There is so much going on in this mental plane of yours that you are not inhabiting your body, because you are just inhabiting your neck upwards, your mind, your ego, this incessant mind chatter. And the reason why is obviously because you're in survival mode, but to go deeper into it, it is because your body, your nervous system doesn't feel safe being safe. We grow up not feeling safe to be in our body. Somewhere along the line, something happened, something traumatic, something abusive, something that made us feel as if being in our body was not safe. So we started to function from the mind, from the neck upwards, from our thoughts. And I know this is something that I felt in my life, because as I was growing up, I experienced things as any child does, traumatic things, abusive things, and it made me be so in my mind that I can still recall to this day thinking to myself, the feeling like I had won, because I thought, oh wow, look at me, I think so many thoughts, nothing bad can ever happen to me, because I'm always mentally prepared, because I'm always thinking of the worst possible case scenario, and I'm always mentally preparing for that. So that's what I felt like was safety. Now what happens is, when we grow up in environments like that, in households like that, where we don't feel safe to be in our body, where we feel shame to be in our body, and we spend all of our time being hyper vigilant and worrying and thinking about things rather than experiencing them, we train the nervous system to think that safety is unfamiliar. Now the nervous system is built in a way where it wants to feel safe, and it only feels safe with things that you feel familiar with, which is why, for example, you trying a new business or expressing yourself online or in person, or you doing something new, something unfamiliar, seems like danger. You feel scared to post, you feel scared to create, you feel scared to leave your job and try something new, because it is unfamiliar. And this, your nervous system wants to stick to things that are familiar and wants to stay in the comfort zone, because that's what it knows. It is, your nervous system is something that was developed when you were a hunter gatherer. So when we were living in tribes, it was in your favor to think, it was for your benefit, for you to abide by what the tribe says, because if you don't listen to what the tribe says and do what is familiar, you won't be safe, because it is safer to be in a group of people and to deal with predators like lions and wild cats and other animals, rather than to be alone and have to deal with those kind of threats. But obviously now we live in environments where, in the West especially, we are a lot safer, and we are not dealing with imminent danger in every single moment. So it is actually okay for you to feel safe in your body. It is safe for you to do what you want and to express yourself and to feel your body. And I know that this is something that women especially deal with, especially because we have so much shame and we are so sexualized to the point where we start objectifying ourselves, and we look at ourselves as if we are objects for the male gaze, rather than living, breathing, conscious human beings. So I felt this a lot. I felt very disconnected to my body, to the point where I was disassociating. Disassociate. You get what I mean. I wasn't present in my body, and I would have times where I would just come back and be like, oh my God, I'm here. I'm actually alive. It was as if I was living outside of my body, and then suddenly I would come back and be like, oh my God, I'm actually here. This is so weird. Oh my God, I'm actually alive. it would it would feel weird. You can only imagine as a teenager what impact that had on me. And I had to do some digging, and I realized what it was, disassociation. But I thought it was like a psychological ailment that I just happened to have. I didn't realize there was actually an antidote to it. There was a solution to it, and the solution is attention. And attention is important, and it really relates with sensuality, because as this teacher in sensuality said, Dr. Saida Desailly, she said that sensuality is how you make sense of reality. And in my personal experience, it is this intimacy that you have with life. It is a connection that you have with life. So I realized, okay, well, if the nervous system is regulated by pleasure, and if sensuality is your connection to yourself, then attention is naturally the doorway through connecting with yourself, through connecting with the beauty that lives around you. Because think about it, right? This is the moment where we're allowed to think. So what you pay attention to, if I'm paying attention to this moment right now, I'm paying attention to the way the words are rolling off my tongue, the way that the light is hitting my face, the way that it feels to be me, to be breathing, to be speaking, to be sharing. It feels good. I feel energized. That's because I'm in my body. But if I was in my mind, I'd be paying attention to, okay, well, how am I being perceived? Am I saying the right thing? Are they paying attention to the way my mehendi is crumbling on my hands, and how is that being perceived? Do you get what I mean? It takes me away from the beauty of this present moment, from this connection to you. You can tell when somebody is stuck in their mind and isn't really present. And the people that are present, that are paying attention to their senses, to their emotions, to the way that their body feels, are the most magnetic people. Think of people like Marilyn Monroe. There was a girl that I used to work with, and she was so magnetic, not because she was the prettiest or the most talented or the funniest or anything like that. She was somebody that was actually an immigrant who didn't have the most fluent accent in English, but yet and that's something that I noticed, because when I moved here, I was very self-conscious about my accent. I wanted to feel like I belonged. So, and because I wanted to feel like I belong and I didn't have the most fluent accent when I moved here, I was very shy and I didn't want to express myself because I didn't want to sound as if oh my god, oops. I didn't pay attention to my nose ring. Hold up. We're back. It's back in. Yes, I wear a nose ring. It is fake. Oops. I need to get my nose pierced, but honestly, I'm a bit scared because I went with my sister and she had hers done and it looked really painful. So I thought, you know what? Like, I could just pop this in. It looks pretty. I'm good with it. Before I digress. Okay, so what was that? Okay, attention. Paying attention. So, oh shit. So, here I was, somebody who was unable to express myself to the fullest extent. And then I witnessed this woman who is even less fluent than me, but she was so energetic, she was so confident, she was so authentic, regardless of anything. She didn't care about what people thought. She didn't care that she didn't have the most fluent accent. She didn't care that how she was being perceived. She just had her attention within her body, and she was present, and she was expressing herself without any apology, without shame, and it was magnetic. Everybody was drawn to her. Everyone wanted to be around her, including me. I actually ended up living with her because it was something something inside me wanted to be around someone like that, somebody that wasn't perfect, because she didn't need to be, because none of us need to be. And it was so attractive. And that's what happens when you pay attention to yourself. That's what happens when you pay attention to yourself inside. Okay, how am I saying this? So you are experiencing life from the inside, not from the outside. When I was experiencing life from the outside, I was disassociated and I was numb. I was disconnected. I wasn't feeling the beauty of life, which is why I felt so sad, depressed, and all of these things. But now that I pay so much more attention to how I feel, to the subtler energies, to the sensations in my body, to my breathing, right? This happened for me when I experienced pain, which is interesting because this is how it happened for Julia. Julia experienced pain, and her pain brought her back to herself. It made her focus on the present moment because the past was too unbearable to think about. The future was too scary to think about. And in this present moment, everything was okay because she was still alive. She was breathing just like I am, just like you are. And she started noticing so many things, so much beauty when she started paying attention to this present moment. And that's what happened to me. Now, I actually made a list of all the things that I started paying attention to. So I have them here on my laptop. I'm going to just read some out. So my first time that I paid attention properly was to my pain, like Julia, during my heartbreak. So when my heart was breaking, I was sat in the park and I was crying. And when I was crying, I was very present because my heart really hurt. My chest really hurt. It felt really heavy. I felt shame in my stomach. I felt as if my breathing was I was being suffocated, and because it hurt so much, I couldn't I couldn't ignore it, and I didn't want to distract myself from it. I didn't want to escape from it. So I thought, okay, well, with everything that I know, why don't I just allow this pain to occur? Why don't I just allow this experience to happen? Why don't I just witness it? Because I'm not the experience, I'm not the emotion, I'm the witnesser, if you will, the observer of this experience. So as I sat there, and my heart hurt, and my chest felt heavy, and I was crying, I was sobbing, and all these emotions were coming through me. At one point, I started laughing because I was like, "Oh wow, here we are. This is the joys of being alive, right? Experiencing the joy, the happiness, the pain, all of it." Anyway, that's another topic for another thing. If um, it's this Carl Jung Existential Kink book by Dr. Carolyn Elliott that I love talking about. Anyway, I'll make a different video about that. Let's pay attention to what I was talking about. I tend to digress a lot. So yeah, apparently INFJs tend to have that tendency. So let me just breathe. Okay. So in that moment, I paid attention to my pain, and that breakup was my biggest breakthrough because it brought me back to myself. And after that, I discovered dance, and I discovered the powerful, the healing power of movement. And when I was dancing, I was present in my body. It took me a while, but as I was dancing, I could feel the ego quietening, is that a word? Becoming quieter. And I was paying attention, specifically, specifically to my hands. The way my hands were moving, it was like for the first time, I was fully aware. My awareness was in my hands, and the way they moved, and all these shapes, and the way the fingertips had energy in them, and the way they were so alive. Like I love moving my hands. Even now, like when I'm sitting down, I'll just be just paying so much attention to them, and I just felt so much love, so much appreciation for my body and how it felt to be inside me. It was like for the first time I was inside me. And I know I made a video about dance, but this relates really well, and if you haven't watched it, I would go back and watch it. It was one of the first videos that I posted on my channel, and I talk about how healing it was for me because it brought me back to myself. I wasn't just dancing in my bedroom. I became the dance. I became the awareness that watched this body move and sway in ways that I didn't even think were possible. My body moved in a very snake-like manner, and it felt like, you know, when they talk about Kundalini energy and Shakti is actually, Kundalini is Shakti in the body, and Shakti is coiled. It's like a snake, and it's coiled at the bottom of your spine, and then slowly Shakti moves and she rises. Like when you have a Kundalini awakening, they have this imagery of the snake rising and just coming out of the body, and it felt as if I could feel this surge of energy rising up from my spine, and my spine was moving in ways that could only be described as snake-like. And it was mesmerizing for me to even pay attention to, because when I was dancing, I had my eyes closed, and all my attention was drawn inwards. I wasn't focusing on how I looked and how people were going to perceive me or how I was perceiving myself. I stopped judging it. I just started moving and letting my body take control. I brought all my attention from my neck upwards into my being, into the core of me, and I could feel my body coming alive. I could feel tingling. I could feel the aliveness, the energy the energy within my body. I could feel it for the first time ever. And for somebody who was so disconnected from her body to be able to feel this, it was just wild. And since then, I have been on a journey that has just been diving deeper into dance and movement and the body and presence and sensuality, because, you know, I was watching a workshop on sensuality, and she made this amazing point which I actually relate to, because she was speaking about how sensuality is so we think it's about being seductive and appearing more beautiful and aesthetics. And when I would be writing my articles for sensuality, I would be typing in sensual, and all I would see was imagery of so many photos of young women who were, dressed in lingerie. The nature of the imagery for sensuality really encapsulates the narrative that we hold in society about sensuality. We think that it is sexuality. We think that it is intimacy with another. We think it is about young girls in lingerie being all sexy and stuff, but it's not. It's our connection to life. And the narrative is maybe this way because it's a way of driving a wedge between us and our bodies, because a woman that is sensual is so powerful. She's sovereign, she's internally referenced, she's experiencing life from inside of her rather than from outside of her. And that means that she's harder to control, she's harder to manipulate. Think about women who are easily manipulated, right? They don't have a strong sense of self. They're not present in their body enough to be able to notice when intuition is communicating to them, when they have these inner nudges, this universal guidance that comes through. They don't pay attention to it because they are not aware of it, because they are living from up here. Intuition doesn't communicate to you the same way that language does. It communicates to you through feelings and sensations, through random thoughts coming in, through uh, your heartbeat increasing, or you feeling off because the vibes are off. Vibe is short for vibration, because you are an electromagnetic being with an electromagnetic field around you, and you can only be aware of the people in your field and whether they're trying to take advantage of you if you are sensitive, if you are in your body feeling the vibrations that are coming to you, feeling the vibes that they are emanating, and knowing whether that feels good for you or not. But you cannot be open to that or anything in life, to inspiration, to creativity, which is also something that flows from God through you. You cannot be open to it when you are so full up of worries and fears and thoughts and shame and self-monitoring. And I know this because I have lived this. I have literally lived this. There was one day where I went for a walk, and it was the best walk of my life, because I didn't listen to music and I didn't care about what people thought. I didn't even care about what I thought. I literally, for the first time, took my heels off, walking around barefoot onto the grass. And usually I'm really scared of the grass because I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to have bugs biting me, and I don't want to have ants and insects crawling all over me. But I thought, no, if it happens, I'll just experience it. I'll maybe even embrace it and enjoy it. Thank God nothing bit me that day, but I was lying on the grass. I didn't have a blanket, no picnic blanket, nothing, just me, just with nature, lying around. I was literally rolling around in the grass because I was so in my body. I didn't care what people thought. People were walking around, people were sitting. There was even a man sitting on a bench close by, but I didn't care because I wasn't trying to think about image management, controlling what people think of me. I wasn't in the mind, I was in the body, and I was feeling the way the grass felt. I was feeling the warmth and the love of the sun. I was walking around and taking my time to smell the flowers. I was taking my time to feel the texture of the leaves, and to just take in the beauty of the trees and think about how connected we are, how the barnacles, is it the barnacles? I think it is the barnacles. I don't know why it's eluding me right now, but the barnacles in our chest. Why do I feel like it's something else? No, it's the barnacles. It's basically inside of your lungs. You have the way that your lungs are formed is the same as the way the trees are. And I love to connect. So when I was paying attention to everything around me, and I was connected to myself and my senses and my feelings and my energy, I was able to form a connection with nature. I was able to connect with these flowers and to be able to receive from them. So I know this video is getting very long, so I'm gonna wrap it up now. And to conclude, life is there to be experienced, and how you experience life is through what you pay attention to. Attention becomes a doorway through which beauty and pleasure can come through, even in the mundane moments of your life. Even something as mundane as drinking your tea could be something that is really grounding, is really allowing you to connect with yourself, with nature, with your pleasure, because your natural state is pleasure. For real, it is pleasure. Because I have been in moments where I have connected so deeply to my body, and I wrote a poem about it as well. And if you want to read the poem or hear it, you can either go on my Substack, which is the Temple of Remembrance, or you can go to a different YouTube video that I posted, the most recent one, in which I recite my poem for you. So have fun. But that poem is written in a state where I was very in my body. Embodiment is coming back into the body. Sensuality is inhabiting the body, not doing a performance. Just like dance. When you dance from inhabiting your body rather than performance, for performance, it is the most healing, most empowering movement, act of self-worship that you can do. That is how I connected with my body, how I connected with my emotions, how I connected with my creativity. You think that creativity just comes out of nowhere? No, it flows to you from God, from outside of you. And you have to be open enough and present enough, paying attention to here now, for you to be able to receive it. Or else if you don't, it will go to somebody else. And like Michael said, MJ, he said that if I don't act upon this act of inspiration, it's gonna flow to Prince, and then Prince is gonna act upon this idea, and then he's gonna make great art. So he would act upon it. But the reason why we feel so like our creativity, our intuition, enjoyment, peace, bliss, joy, pleasure seems elusive is because you are eluding yourself. You are not inhabiting yourself. So you have to take your time to come back to your body, and you can do this through your breath. Your breath is literally life. So before you go, let's take a deep breath together, okay? So just breathing deeply through your nose, and for a moment just take a break. Just take some time to connect with your body. I like to hold my heart, one hand on my heart, one hand on my womb. Feel the way your chest is rising and the air is moving in and out, the way you are connecting with life. And when you connect with life like this, like look at it, even the way I'm speaking is more grounded. I feel peace and stillness just by taking one deep breath in. And this is what it is about. So from now on, starting with today, after you stop watching this video, you can pause it right now. Pay attention to your surroundings. Just take a look. Just slowly look around your room. Take in what you can notice. And start to tell yourself, affirm to yourself, I am safe. It is safe to feel safe. So just one last point about safety. Something that I learned in the workshop that I was watching yesterday. So Dr. Saida Desile, she said that safety is something that we feel and something that we can experience. So you experience safety when you are in an environment where there are no current threats. There is nobody that is weird and trying to take your energy or trying to, oh, my phone is about to fall. Nobody that is trying to take your attention or take advantage of you. And the feeling of safety is the emotions, the sensations of feeling calm, of feeling relaxed, of being present, of feeling slower. That is why people who are magnetic are slow. They take their time. They're not rushing anywhere like, oh, I need to rush to my grave. That's what people do. Anyway, so you need to work on increasing your capacity to feel safe within your body. So I would recommend looking at, there's a creator on here that I really love, Veronica. She talks about nervous system regulation, about how pleasure is how you can regulate your nervous system, which correlates so much with attention, because attention is your connected to your presence, how present you feel. And when you feel present, you feel sensual, you feel sensitive to the things happening around you. And when you're sensitive to the things happening around you, you are open to creativity, to beauty, to experiences, to opportunities, to life. And when you are open, you are expanding because you are one with everything. You are connected with it all. So I'm gonna end this now, because honestly it's something that I could talk about for a very long time. So if you did enjoy this and this resonated and you want another part, I'll be happy to go ahead and do that for you guys. Let me know what you guys thought. And let me know how the breathing exercise went, of connecting with your body, of increasing your capacity to feel safety. I would love to hear your experiences. You can leave a comment or message me on my socials. I love connecting with life and all of you. And thank you so much for being here. And thank you for paying attention to me. I hope you have the most fabulous day. And I'll see you guys next time.